What's good, Ja? You already know what it is, baby. This is T Paris, aka the Young Marvin Gaye. This rap shit, most original, most creative, most in tune with the times, and I'm sort of like your inspiration. And this is P's Perspective, the recap. But let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. Now, before we even start the day, man, I gotta take a moment and say happy birthday to Muffin. Today, my daughter's birthday, man. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm so proud, man. And before we even get into the video, I just want to ask, everybody who watched this video, man, please just leave a comment for my daughter, man. Let her know that we all appreciate her too. Moving right along, I just want to ask you, please hit that like button. I want to ask you to please hit that subscribe button. I want to say thank you for all the comments, but keep them coming, man. I appreciate all the engagement that we've been having, man. And moving right along, let's get to this dialogue, man. Standards versus preferences. Our topic this week came from Russell Rowe. He said he thought that this was something that'd be dope. He felt like it was something that a lot of people, would be engaging with. As we sat and we talked about it, he gave me some insight about it, and I brought it to y'all, man. We ain't get a lot of answers or responses on the specific questions, but we did get a lot of feedback. I want to tell everybody thank you for that. We're going to address that at the end. But let's just get into some of the meat and potatoes, man. Our first comment, it comes from Robert English. He said, I'm not sure if I stay on these guidelines. I feel you just got to find somebody that's willing to put you ahead of everybody. You got to find that one that's going to actually be there for you. In reality, it goes both ways. Like, if a girl can't put in the effort, the dude can't put in the effort. It's never going to work. He said, it can't be a one-way thing. You got to meet somebody on a certain ground. You got to meet someone that's willing to grow with you. If they're not willing to grow with you and you're not willing to change or do for the better or help to better themselves, then that's not someone you want to be with. So always look for that concept. Someone that's going to bring more than just a good looking or just appeal or physical body or whatever. Find someone that's willing to grow with you, that you're willing to grow with. I appreciate that comment, OG. Robert is one of my OGs from the community, a mentor, somebody I look up to and somebody I respect. I appreciate the comment. I agree. We got to find somebody that's going to match our energy. You know what I'm saying? They support you. You support them. Appreciate your comment, man. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Mr. Russell Rowe himself. That's the person who emailed our topic this week. He said, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for using my topic this week. I'm very grateful and very appreciative. I felt this topic also covers past episodes of the season, which could further deepen and expand the conversation between men and women. Episodes 4 through 6 can also be connected via today's episodes. I wanted to acknowledge that before answering today's questions. I want to say thank you to Russ because it's evident that he's been paying attention to what's going on. When he mentioned that this topic, also can tap into episodes 4 through 6. That let me know that you really been paying attention. So thank you for that. Everybody else that's paying attention and watching, I appreciate you. I want to ask people, go back, watch the past episodes, let me know how we can improve. Let me know some other topics, man. Y'all know the topic email is tparis1musicgroup@gmail.com. Send them topics in. Appreciate you, Russ. Toast to the town, man. Our next comment comes from Lori Chalez. She said, I ask people this all the time. Are we dating for aesthetics or substance? Because looks don't care. Looks don't care for babies or cook for, or clean. And they damn sure don't take care of you. So when you down and you stop saying, so when you're down, stop saying he's a deadbeat or he wasn't meant to be for me. He was meant to be cute and he did his job. I agree with that. A lot of times we start these relationships and then they go south. We start to belittle or down our partner. You knew what it was when you met them. You knew what you signed up for. If you met them for preferences, then you shouldn't be expecting them standards to stand out. Appreciate your comment. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Dominique Moore. She says standards over preferences. Thank you. We appreciate you. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Rodney Lassiter. My dude, you couldn't have said it better. Keep giving out lessons, and I appreciate you for paying attention to the lessons. I ask everybody to go back, man. Watch them past episodes. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Check out other episodes. Send in some topics that you think would be dope for future episodes. Thank you, man. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Kenya Try Me Pedigate. She says standards trump preferences. We appreciate that, man. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Mark Lawless. I've always been a standard kind of fella. Grounded. We appreciate that, man. Always showing me support. Always here to be on deck for the people and for the community. I love you, man, and I appreciate that. Toast to the town. Our next comment come from Brittany Cross. What I prefer is fleeting. Standards are your core and they usually stay grounded. Standard is saying I'm not going to date an alcoholic or someone who indulges in substances. When I prefer beef, that don't mean that I'm not going to eat chicken. I appreciate that, and I like that analogy. Just because you prefer something does not mean that you are totally against something else. Our preferences just mean that that's something that we like. And real quick, side tangent. As I was talking about this topic, somebody reached out to me and, asked my opinion about, people dating outside their race. And so I just want to say, when you hear somebody say, I'm pro-black, that don't necessarily mean that they against white people, man. It don't necessarily mean that, man. So I want to say thank you for that comment, man. Your preference does not mean that you hate or you dislike something else. Toast to the town. Bossed Up Stacks, that's our next comment provider. He says, always standards. People's preferences change. Your standards should be based on morals. I agree. Your standards is something that we live by, man. It's morals, principles. It's stuff that we invest in. It takes time. But as long as you putting forth that effort, you could expect to get something in return. We appreciate that comment, man. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Greg Peter Voice. He said, I think people value the wrong things. I'd rather value their soul because it never lies. Sometimes you may never live up to your own standards. Sometimes you may never live up to people's standards, and you may not even live up to your own standards. But if you value a person's soul, what they build, you will either have something everlasting or something that you can count on. It was never meant to be anything else. Salute, bro. These topics are legit, relevant, and for the culture. I appreciate that, man. Toast to the town. Say, apologize, man, stumbling over these comments, man. Sometimes it's a little challenging reading, what people saying, real fast. Gotta take my time. Our next comment, it comes from Ron Maybach. He said, I think having both is good, but most people go for standards. But then, like you said, if a chick asks a dude about his credit score, you're going to be offended because it's like you worried about all that. I just asked to see where you wanted to go. And I agree with that, man. But I want to say that's something that we need to, really, be humble about. Even though it's challenging, it's touchy, when you getting to know somebody, you want to know everything about this person as you moving forward. And so if somebody asks us, what's your credit score? I agree. It's going to be touchy, but it's also going to let you know if that's somebody that, you want to focus on. Because they very well could be asking you something like, what do you like to drink? Or, do you indulge in substances like somebody else said? So thank you for that comment, brother. Toast to the town. Our next comment came from Microphone Bully. Let me read the question so we get into his comment. The first question, what do you prefer? Do you cater to standards or do you cater to preferences? And Microphone Bully said he thinks that people cater to both. The next question, you meet somebody, you discuss goals, standards, and relationships. 3 years in, you've not worked on any goals. Do you A, go your separate ways, B, sit and discuss the initial goal, or C, forget the goals and just keep going? If it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. And Microphone Bully said he would say go your separate ways. The third and final question was, you meet somebody, but they don't have your physical attributes, but they check off on all of your standards. Do you A, friend zone, B, have the relationship, get yours, and then get gone? Or C, you adopt and follow the new philosophy, which is to focus on the standards? He said C would be the best choice, but that's the question for the single people. Toast to the town, brother. And shout out to the married folks out there, man. We appreciate y'all. Our next comment comes from Broadway Freedom. He said, I love this, bro. Keep it up. Freedom, one of my brothers from MEN, man. Shout out to the whole MEN family. I appreciate you. And I appreciate you too, Free. Toast to the town, brother. The next comment came from AR Styles. AR was somebody I was on the tour with, man. Shout out to Exotic Mommy. Welcome home. DJ Exotic Mommy, welcome home. AR Styles was on the radio tour that we took, man. I appreciate you still checking in, King. Toast to the town. Our next comment comes from Special Gift NAB. She said, what time? I thought that was a good comment. So let me take the time to just let people know. Peace Perspective. We do this every Sunday, preferably between 8 and 9 p.m. Every Wednesday is the recap. So every Sunday and Wednesday, we're going to put the videos on YouTube. They're going to be on tparis.com. You can chime in on Facebook. You can chime in on Instagram. Or you could just, if I text you and I send it to you, you can send me your response in text. I would prefer you put them on the social media platforms so that everybody else can see. And I just want to tell y'all, man, I really, really appreciate what we doing here, man. Let's keep it going. Thank you to Special Gift NAB. Toast to the town. Our next comment come from James Field. He said, combing your standards to your preferences is an art and a key. It's a balance of life, man. I appreciate that. He's saying you got to have a little bit of both, the balance. OG, we appreciate you. Toast to the town. Our next comment come from Dickens Celestin. He's answering comment number 3. Question number 3, rather. It said, you meet somebody, but they don't have the physical attributes, but they check off on all standards. He said, physical attribute is a standard. If it's part of your standards, then don't waste time. I mean, he said, if it's part of your standards, then don't waste the other person's time. Be honest with yourself and with them. Relationships fail from the start because we think that we could change the other person, or we think that we can handle things. The ego gets in the way. I appreciate that, and I kind of agree with that. I think a lot of times, the ego do come and play. We kind of feel like, when we talking to somebody, I think I could change this person, or just a matter of time before, you start to identify with the way that I feel. I think that that's, a recipe set up for disaster from the jump. Like I said, I want to say to everybody, thank you, for the comments. I want to take a moment to just touch on, the responses and just a little TP insight. Of course, I appreciate everybody taking the time, to engage the dialogue. This right here might be a little touchy, and I understand that. And it's probably going to be a couple more episodes we're going to have this conversation, but I'm trying to preach accountability. Sometimes we have these topics, people respond, and oftentimes they go on their own little tangent. They talk about what they feel, they think the topic is, or, they answer a question based upon something that solely appeals to them. I appreciate all the comments, all the responses. But the reason why we having these dialogues, though, is because there's certain things that I feel like in our community we don't really take the time to address. And so sometimes when you comment, it's like, let's take the time to sit down and be accountable for what we speaking on, I think most people said that they focus on standards. But let's be honest, if you ask 100 people right now, you got a 700 credit score, I want to say at least 60% of those people going to say no. So if you focusing on standards, you looking for somebody whose standards is up, you first got to have your standards up. You can't be looking for stuff in people that you don't have in yourself first. That's number one. Number two, I feel like too many times, people want to say what they think that I want to hear. I don't really have an answer, man. This is my insight, it's my opinion, but I don't have the answer. I just think it's important to have the dialogue, man. Maybe one of y'all have the answer. But I think too many times, people say what they think that I want to feel. Maybe it's because when I respond, I've been known to be a little passionate in the way that I go about talking to people, when I say I don't agree with you. And, maybe that's something that I need to work on. Like I said last week, toxic behaviors and stuff like that. But I'm challenging you to, stick to the topic, man. Stick to the topic. In life, sometimes, we set out to do things. If you go on a tangent or you start shortcutting and taking, side steps, you're not going to obtain your goal, man. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow, man. We're trying to get to a level where we can have these conversations that everybody feel comfortable having the conversations. I know everybody ain't got their standards up. And I know a good majority of you people are focused on preferences, man. When I sit down and I talk with my family or my friends, most times it's, shorty look good. It's not, her credit was crazy. Shorty was talking to me about, starting a business, or, we was talking about getting a house, or we was talking about owning and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that, sometimes those conversations don't exist. Like just recently I was building with a young lady about, let's take a trip. And I think that that's amazing. But for me personally, that's not something that I've really been, invested in, in my life and time. I've been out the country maybe 3 times in my whole life, B, in my whole life. So me, myself, I got to step my standard game up too. If I'm looking for somebody to meet my standards, I got to be able to match their standards. My passport is expired. You understand what I'm saying? And right now I'm being transparent because I want y'all to know I'm not judging you. I just want to have the dialogue, man. It's a lot of stuff going on out in the world, man. And maybe it's time that we start touching on some more of these touchy topics, because the more touchy the topic, the more we seem to, you know what I'm saying, to be going back and forth and bumping heads. And I ain't got no problem with bumping heads. I think sometimes when we bump heads, what we really do is get our likes and dislikes out there in the open. So I want to say thank you to everybody who chimed in. You know, I appreciate all the comments, but I'm definitely going to challenge y'all, man, to stick to the script, man. Answer the questions. Answer the questions. Pardon so. That way, we know exactly where you coming from, man. I don't just want to hear that everybody is focused on standards, because I don't believe that. And with that being said, man, this was another dope episode. Please don't forget, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, keep them comments coming, all of the comments, and happy birthday to Taylor. I love you, Muffin. You mean everything to me. Peace.